Hello everybody, welcome back to Language Litigation Integration Part 55, down by that, but not out. Kick 'em while he's down, but I'm not out, bitch. Back with more stories. Holy shit, I keep remembering, this shit's fucking hilarious. But the last episode, again, I'm filming on the same day, but the last episode was mainly like, late high school, or certainly like senior year to just out of high school into college. We're now gonna do some flashbacks to some more high school stories again about all scapegoating, always getting denied, always fuck Brad. But I have some interesting stories from my high school English class. I took AP Literature and Composition. I got a 5, nice. But a teacher named Miss Odie. Several stories and quotes from her, and barely getting a 94. So, at the beginning of junior year of high school, I took AP. I took AP European History junior year, and so I was in an AP European History class, which I did study for 1 week before and still passed, which is pretty good. I can honestly say on the AP European test, after the first 5 multiple choice questions, I literally guessed on all of them and just wrote well. Still passed though. You guys have my data points, I don't. But I'm in these two classes, AP Lit and Composition and AP European History. So one day in European History class, and I don't remember what exactly there was some sort of ideology throughout European history. I forget it, but it's iteration of logic, pairing this to pairing that, and going through the whatever. So again, I can't remember what the terminology was. But get introduced to this idea in European history class, and again, as someone who's trying to be an academic, why would I not apply that idea to something else I know? Why would I not write about that in English class? And so, again, I can't remember the idea, it doesn't really matter, but it's just some classification of logic, of argumentation, of something to that effect. And I tried to apply that from history class to English class. And I told you the story about my senior year. This is before senior year, obviously. But I told you about senior year, my Dvorak handing out my paper for being great writing. And so I applied the logic from history class to literature class, and I just start writing about it. One day, this is at the beginning of the year, go into Miss Odie's class, and this is one of our first papers we wrote at the beginning of the year. Go in there, and there's another paper on the whiteboard. Dvorak, my senior year English teacher, handed out the paper, but this one was just on the smart board. And it was my paper. It was the one I wrote and handed in as a rough draft. And it was a big exhibition of how not to write a fucking paper. Yeah, Miss Odie from fucking high school. Who does more for literature, me or you, bitch? But the point is again, I'm a scapegoat. When people who are in places of authority see something that is more competent than they could possibly produce, they have to insult it. Even if it ruins your college career, even if it ruins your grades, even if it ruins your fucking life, no one fucking cares. When I go into the class and I see again my paper being an example of terrible writing, which it wasn't. It was just she didn't agree with the logical application. So I literally call up Miss Odie and Mr. Ulrey and let's talk about this. This is literally what I just learned in history class, wrote about it in English class, and I'm an example for bad writing, basically doing commentary on logic from, European history. And again, of course, both beta male, no one gives a fuck, they're just going to side with each other, I'm the crazy idiot. But it was like a, you don't know how to write. Well, Miss Odie, my guess is you're still a fat cunt and you can't fucking write anything. So, we'll see. Maybe you're probably fat, you might have died, I don't even fucking know. But fuck you. But so, some more stories from her. Again, that was the first paper. In this class we wrote a lot of papers. In another paper I used the word augmentation. To augment is to better, to improve. And she just again, doesn't like the word. Just like John Hurst at OSU, I write correct logic and people disagree with it fundamentally because they have no values and they have to destroy my life and no one gives a fuck. And it slows down society. It's really good stuff. And so The exact quote she wrote on my paper, she told me this in person, "It sounds like you are getting a boob job." Miss Odie, maybe you want a fucking boob job. I don't want a boob job. The word augmentation means to improve. On another paper, I wrote I used the word rationalization as to rationalize, to reason. And she says, nope, the only definition of to rationalize is to give out rations and food. So rationalization is not a word. And she literally told me this, but it is a word, and everyone's heard what it meant. This is my high school environment. I have to fucking figure out how to fucking survive. Like I said, I told you, I think my overall class grade through all high school was either 95 or 96. But I almost, like I said, one of the semesters or quarters, and you can call me arrogant or whatever, but again, I'm sitting there thinking 1B on a report card on a college application that is gonna fuck me. And this bitch cannot like fucking accept words that are fucking correct. And so, Miss Odie, rationalization means reason. Rationalization reasons, cited in Tolstoy. Oh, you're an English teacher, bitch. I graded every work of world history literature word for fucking word logically. So that's a level, you will not see that level in 50 million fucking lifetimes. But another quote from her was, my buddy TJ on the baseball team, he got his paper back one time and he got a 77. And the thing that was written on his paper was, you didn't lose 23 points, you only earned 77. Jason Hipsher referenced in this lecture series, I still have not earned anything. I cannot earn anything. But this is the type of teacher you have to impress her. You have to get it done. And my point is, imagine being a student saying, I'm trying to plan for my future. This bitch is overweight, maybe a lesbian, who knows, dyke-ass looking bitch. Well, she's pretty smart though. One of the more articulate teachers I've had. But me versus you, Mrs. Odie, you better get in fucking line. But she said you didn't lose 23, you only earned 77 to my buddy TJ. And so Mr. Odie, again, I'm trying to earn my place. I graded all Tolstoy's War and Peace, word for fucking word. Your turn, bitch. And again, cited in the fucking book as it happens, rationalization means reason. But also in this class, she says you use a colon to complete a thought. Now, thinking from my perspective, every time I fucking speak, it's a theorem. Like anybody speaks, it's a theorem. Mine are fundamental and it's proven. And so I said, yeah, that's fantastic. Every time she told me that, you use a colon to complete a thought. And so I go into, again, theology class. I went to a Catholic school. I had to study up on theology. I don't know anything about Jesus Christ. Again, I'm not translating anything just like he did. Not at all. Way better. And so I write a paper in my theology class, and I use colons every time I complete a thought, aka a theorem. And I just get a terrible grade. It's just like, why did you use so many colons? Because this bitch just told me to. So this is my educational experience, people. I go to, and this is literally like the next class. Go to the language class, they say do this. Go to the next class, the other teacher says do this. And it's not consistent. Oops, spilled some beers on myself. Not consistent. Nothing you could possibly do to, again, 1 + 1 = 3 times 3, sometimes it equals 5, sometimes it equals 7. Nothing you can do, no one you can call, nothing you can fucking do. And so Mrs. Steph is my religion teacher, theology teacher, gave me a terrible grade for using a lot of colons, literally right after my English teacher told me to use colons. Literally exactly. So I had to navigate, figure out how do I write papers to not offend my teachers, while still getting good grades. And then after all of this, because she was pretty intellectual, I have no problem throwing jabs or insulting fucking anybody, but she was pretty intellectual, more intellectual than most high school teachers I've ever interacted with. So I asked her for a letter of recommendation, which of course she didn't do on time. Of course she didn't fucking have any responsibility of herself because she's fat and lazy. She likes watching UFC fights with her girlfriends. This is another random quote she told everybody. But I email her and try to get this thing, and she tells me, you weren't a bother. You were a good student. And I remember one time in her class, we had a timed writing. You could either finish it in class or take it home. And I was the only one that literally finished my essay in class, 5-paragraph essay, blah, blah, blah. I think I got like probably a 92 or 93 on it. I got a good grade. I was just dumbfounded again. Everyone else can go home and think, and I can respond logically instantly, and it doesn't like affect my grade in a good way. Sweet. But you weren't a bother. After I asked her to write my letter of recommendation, she takes way too long to do it. Again, I got into no colleges anyway. But this whole time I'm thinking like, you know, I have to pass the gate of the troll under the bridge, and then you weren't a bother. So you're just a fucking cunt that exerts your authority when you're not correct. So I got some more stories as well. So that's like junior and senior year. Another story about sophomore to junior year. He said sophomore year took honors chemistry. Junior year took AP chemistry. The AP test I would have taken junior year of high school would have been the chemistry, literature and composition, and European history. We had a teacher, really like well respected and liked. She retired a couple years after we left or graduated. Her name was Mrs. Hatch. Hope she's still alive. We're doing well. But she wrote a chemistry problem wrong. A little prelude story. I've told you about my old friend Alice trying to get her wet at the fucking lunch table in high school. Again, just a fucking... You guys gotta know what I'm talking about, those water bottles. You get a little spurt on your, like, little misty thing going on. Somebody's gotta know what that water bottle's called. But, you know, it's squirted at Alice and it's like, how wet are you, Alice? And she's like, oh, I'm so wet. But so she was in the sophomore year honors chemistry class as well. And I was obviously flirting with Alice heavy. And so I forget exactly what incidents caused it, but I got again, we had a class of, I don't know, 30 people. And I got relocated. Mrs. Hatch put me literally, her desk is here. There's an administrative desk right here, and then the rest of the classroom. I was put on the desk literally right in front of the fucking teacher. Just because I was always flirting and fucking around. But I always got fucking good grades. So I'm up there, and I have this literally a special seat. It's literally just me, right in front of the fucking teacher, and everybody else is like table mates or like lab partners and shit. And I'm just totally fucking around, because again, the science is fun for me. Like, this shit is fun if I'm not getting tortured. But again, this is like high school. And so one day we're just fucking around. Again, I don't know what we're doing. But again, I'm still at my little special desk. I'm still turning around trying to hit on the bitches. You know what it is. Gang, yo. Like, trying to get these bitches, yo. And I get up out of my fucking chair. And I'm going back to try to hit on Alice. And Mrs. Hatch just goes, get back in your cage. It's genuinely a funny story, not like angry. I don't care about having a special desk. But get back in your cage is what she would say to me when I'd go try to hit on some bitches. But she wrote a chemistry problem wrong. And again, like I said, I'm exceedingly sensitive to logic. If you write a question that is not consistent, I cannot answer it. And so, and I forget what the question was. It'd be more meaningful if I could remember the substance. But it was just some chemistry question, and again, I've provably proven the question wrong. Here is a proof. Please accept it. Please don't write minus points on my paper. And again, it was a multiple choice. It was like A, B, C, or D. So I wrote in E, none of the above, and circled E. And I missed the points. But again, I can't remember the question. But again, if you can't write a question correctly, there is a 0% chance that I can understand what is occurring. 1 + 1 never equals 3. Never equals 5. Quasars. But, and I'm pretty sure I saw her like probably about 3 years ago at a parking lot at a grocery store. Not exactly sure, but I'm very confident. But I'm walking into the grocery store, pretty 95% chance I see her, make eye contact, and you can kind of tell like she's gonna like come up to me and say, hey, how's you doing? And I'm like, stay the fuck away from me. Like, I am doing fucking terrible. Since you wrote a wrong chemistry problem and I circled E and you minus points on my paper, nothing in my life has changed. Nothing. And so I have all of these people that want to be like, hey man, I helped you grow up. Actually, the guy that I referenced in here that asked me if I was married, I have a guy, again, not really associated with this community that much, knew him very well through my brother's baseball, very young age, 8 to 12. Saw him when I was dating Susan, I saw him at a basketball game, literally pissing in a urinal next to the dude. And he's like, who are you here for? His name was Joe. Older Joe, again, not a part of this community much at all. And so I'm pissing next to him. I'm like, oh, I'm dating one of the girls on the basketball team. And then years, literally hadn't seen the guy since like age 12, 13, till I was pissing in a fucking urinal at about 18 years old at my old girlfriend's basketball game. And then another, 8 years, and he's the guy that we bump into when we're eating dinner. And he goes, are you married? And this is the time when I'm literally sitting there with my parents as that billboard, rhythm is the base of momentum, as I put the fundamental theorem of physics outside of a university. Are you married yet? Nope. Nope. No end in sight. But I see my chemistry teacher years later, I'm pretty sure. And again, you can tell she's almost like, oh, how did you... Oh, but the reason I referenced the Joe guy is because he was like, again, I know these people know that I've done stuff. They don't know how extensive it is. They have no understanding of mathematics. And he says to me, right after he asked me, is anybody married yet? Again, my brother was there too. But he says, and again, I'm not acting standoffish. People want me to respect them for doing nothing in my life, for actively hurting and restricting my life. And he's like, the only thing people want from me is either to blame me or for me to speak nice about their lives so they feel better about themselves. No one gives a fuck how much I suffer. No one gives a fuck how much I get tortured. They just don't want... How does my life reflect about how I treated Brad? And I want Brad to validate me. And that's kind of what goes on. Again, this guy's not super involved in my community at all. No hard feelings. Never heard of the guy. And literally besides 2 or 3 times over years. And what did he say? He looks at me and goes, well, I thought I hit you some ground balls or something. Yeah, Joe, you probably did hit me ground balls. Playing sports my entire life fucking ruined my entire life. So it's not like let's reminisce on the fun times of playing sports with a bunch of fucking beta males and females who can't raise their children. That's not like yeah. But I see my chemistry teacher years later, and she just, once just like Joe wants to come up and hit me some ground balls. Mrs. Hatch, she didn't teach me anything. You just fucking didn't. Just because, again, I was restricted. I was not allowed to fucking go to school and educate myself because I need the guidance of teachers. Sick. So that's my story from chemistry class, and I'm going to tell you a story about going to my fifth year high school reunion. So I don't know how normal or regular they are. We had a 5-year reunion. Again, our 10th year reunion will be coming up next year. Please, if any cunt from this worthless community is watching, please do not invite me. But and again, not because I've been scapegoated. If I wasn't scapegoated, I actually like to meet up. It's probably like a typical thing. Oh, I would never go to my high school reunion. If I know you had any interaction with you, I'd love to see what's going on in your life. But if you disrespected me, formed a cult, endangered my life for 15 years, stay the fuck away from me. But 5 years ago, it wasn't that severe, so I was like, oh, let's go. This is a high school reunion. Getting from all my cunty, frat boy, old athlete friends. Why did you do that? Because I'm like, I had other friends too, guys, that didn't scapegoat me and treat me like fucking shit the whole time. But most people scapegoat. There's no way around that. But so I go to my 5-year reunion, and we're sitting around, and again, anytime I say something that people can't accept that's a proof or fact or logic, or they just go into denial at face value, but it strikes them as humor. It's like I'm trying to make a joke. I am animated, I have a personality, which is very rare these days, and I know that, but just speaking facts to people who know that they're true but they can't accept them because they're complete hypocrites and inconsistent, it strikes them as humor. And so I'm just basically explaining to this girl named Danielle, the whole world's fucked, no one cares. Again, not like everyone's gonna die and burn and stuff, just like society's stagnated, no one can accept scientific proofs, and everyone's in denial. And she goes into denial. But she says, you should be a comedian or something. I should go on stage. I'd love to. How the fuck do I get a Dave Chappelle special? Oh, still got a scapegoat, Brad. But again, you should be a comedian or something. When you demonstrate or prove to somebody, it strikes them. They react. You notice it 100% of the time. So, I should be a comedian or something. No, I'm still a mathematician. I'm still a logician. And again, I don't keep all of my research. I don't fucking care. My point is I express myself. People hear facts. They go into fucking denial. And then they make up excuses. You should be a comedian or something. Another girl, I'm not sure who told me this, but last episode we talked about my grad party. And we all, and throughout high school in general, all of my old friends would say stuff like, again, word for word, we love your mom. It's like, nice. That's it. I love my mom too. That's an interesting distinction though. We love your mom, we don't love you. Because I exist. I'm mature, I demonstrate proofs. Everyone's a bunch of whores till they're 35, and I think that's normal. Again, now think about Pythagorean cult. I have more discipline than people form cults. I can't have a wife because you people are whores. Sweet. We love your mom. I wish someone would love me. That'd be pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. Down but not out, baby. Keep kicking me while I'm down. I don't give a fuck. So those are some stories. We'll see how long this one is, and so maybe some more. So those were some more denial stories from high school. Now one from college. Again, I'm at OSU now. Again, I'm in physics and math. But you have to take some electives, which I still have not cleaned up my bachelor's in science from OSU. Go Bucks. No one in Columbus, Ohio, don't say the M word, don't say Michigan. Don't do that. Don't publish a paper either. Quasars. But I'm in college, I need to take some elective classes, and literally my thought is, what classes do most of the bitches take? Like respectfully, like funsies. And I came to the conclusion that it was pre-med. Biology classes for pre-med girls, I was like, that's kind of where I'm trying to find that class. So I took an honors biology class in college. So some stories from there. First like day or two. Again, like I said, I'm 2-3 years older, but in college, and he was literally I'm strictly there to satisfy some extra or my curriculum requirements, and then to find some bitches. Mostly find the bitches. And so I signed up for this class. I go in there, and the first day, it's literally like go around the room and tell everybody something about yourself. I go in there and I just say, my name is Brad, and I like protein. Like lifting weights like a joke. Dead silence. And I don't think I'm like super funny all the time, but it's like, again, college was just the most deadbeat, pathetic fucks who can't make any money. They're all in their bag, they're all in their fields, and they're so selfish and biologically insecure, they just can't function. And so I make a protein joke, goes nowhere. Later on in the semester, we get group projects. My group was Fatima, I think that's how you pronounce your name. Fatima, shitty English pronunciation, Ashley, and Greg. They're like 2 years younger than me, like not substantially younger than me, but just a little bit younger than me. And so we get this group project, and one day, I don't know, we might have been at the Ohio Union, but we're meeting up to prepare our presentation or just to start doing our group project. Can't remember what the project was, but we're sitting there with our four-person group. I'm contributing and whatnot, but I'm on my computer, typing away on my computer. And I forget who said what, but somebody says, what are you doing on your computer? And I say, I'm ordering drugs. And they just like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm just ordering fucking drugs online. And then they just like think I'm joking for like 5 minutes. And I'm not joking. Like I was not substantial in college, but a little bit after college, I did pretty well. But I was literally ordering drugs. Probably Silk Road 2. Silk Road 2, Agora, Dream Marketplace. I don't know nothing about that. But, so I was literally ordering fucking drugs. They didn't believe me. And so I turn around my screen and they're just like dumbfounded. They're like, whoa, honors biology class, our fucking classmates legitimately just fucking ordering drugs while we're trying to start a fucking group project. But I'm like, yo, I can get this shit done. Like, I'm smart. I can do this shit, whatever. that was a genuine funny. I was genuinely ordering drugs. My old group, Greg, Ashley, and Fatima, I was definitely ordering the drugs. But again, it was this funny seeing people that had no understanding of like the dark marketplaces at all. But so we get our group project done. We go back into class, and again, none of this is challenging to me. Like none of it. We have to give a presentation. So I just like, this is after our group meeting. I'm like, can I read a poem? Can I write it as a poem? And the teacher was like, sure. Like actually, like, I'll be interested to see where this goes. And so it was like, yeah, absolutely. And so I wrote a poem about biology in like 5 minutes, right before a presentation. And then I read the poem, and the teacher was actually fucking impressed. And I think Ashley and Fatima, I can't remember what Greg did, but they're like, what the fuck is this? Like impressed. Like, he can actually write. I'm like, yeah. I might be ordering drugs at a group meeting, yo, but I can still get that shit done in the academics, my niggas. So that was when I ordered drugs and wrote a poem in biology class trying to pick up some bitches. And I got good grades in this class. That was a good one. But one other story from this class, we had to give another presentation. That was in class. There was 2 sections of the class. Everyone went to the same lecture. There was 2 sets of labs. That was in the lab section. In the lecture section, and again, there was one girl, Jenna, that I was definitely trying to pursue in there. So that's again kind of why I signed up. We had to give a presentation in front of the lecture class, and you just had to take on a role. And I was a Texas, ironically, a Texas politician. And the topic of debate was, should genetic modification exist? And as a scientist, yes, absolutely. But the point was to have a debate, have an argument. So we go up there, and I'm trying to do a Texas accent, yeehaw type of shit. But I just say, something to the effect of, well, if you modify the genome now and it has some sort of substantial cellular response later on, and it modifies the consciousness, you can't predict what effect you're having by modifying the genome to the consciousness later. And again, these people are dumbfounded. Because again, I'm the older kind of weird dude in the class, and I'm not. I'm just trying to get some bitches to fulfill my curriculum. But again, another instance of the room going silent. You experience a proof, you go, whoa, and then you start having thoughts. And then again, I'm up there fucking in a drug rug, like the fucking drug rug sweatshirt type of thing, smelling like weed the entire time, and then I just ask them basic actual biological questions in biology. People are just dumbfounded. And you can see this person gets excited, this person's like, oh, I can't believe you expected to say that. And the teacher's dumbfounded. and again, like, as a scientist, I don't think modifying genome, if you modify the genome enough, you're going to die. So it's like, death is like the measure of substantial instability. But at the time, again, room went silent. You can tell I just presented a proof, and it's not like it's just like an activity. It's not like something to pay me money or something. But that was another story from college. Real quick one from driver's ed. 15 years old, I had to take driver's ed. You just had to go into a building to get your driver's license. Again, another time, people asking questions, and I raise up my hand and ask a question to the driver's ed teacher, and ask her something directly, and literally the word she says back to me is, I can't hear you. You just responded with words. Clearly you could hear me. You don't accept what I've just said. I can't hear you. Literally the teacher of driver's ed, this is a short story, but she hears something she can't accept, just like biology class. They get all flustered, and her response was to say the words, I can't hear you. To which I repeated the question like 3 or 4 times, as calmly, as directly as I could, and she would just literally not respond. Just spook a beta male, they will you violate the values that they don't have, and they're ready to be like, whoa, what do we say? I can't hear you. So again, just some more denial stories. Second YouTubes today. Kick me while I'm down but not out, bitch. And so, again, I got another probably 15 stories written down. I'll be back next time. Thanks for watching.